What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smithy with another GSD mode interview. Every single week we interview top entrepreneurs and just straight up top badasses that are out there dominating their space. These are people choosing to not live a life of mediocrity, but instead to go out there and create epic lives for themselves and for their family. So today, you guys, we got a couple cats on the show, a couple dudes that I've known for a while, been able to see their business really grow and explode. They're doing massive things. So they're both real estate agents that decided to team up together. One thing, I saw a post somewhere, I can't remember what it was, but I was like, I got to get these guys on the show. It was something of, you guys banged out like $90-some thousand in commissions in less than 90 days. I was like, all right, we got to tell that story, right? So really stoked and honored to have Brandon Fink and Jonathan taking on the show. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Hey, massive shout out to Joshua Smith and all the content that he's put out. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be where we are today, and it changed our life. Like literally, it's crazy.
Overnight.
Yeah.
I love that, man. It's the content's out there, right? But there's a lot of people that listen to it that get no results. So it's you guys doing the work, right? We can all have this information, but if we don't do the work, if we don't work our ass off, if we don't implement, we don't create the success. So it's definitely you guys busting your ass every day in the right way that's creating the results. So I love it, man, and seeing some great numbers behind you, man. I love seeing all that. So
hell yeah, hey. Knowledge without application is useless, man. You know what I mean? So
that's it, dude. So before we jump into what you guys are doing today, because I know your team is on fire. How did you guys and I don't know who wants to go first, but how did each of you get into entrepreneurship and decide that real estate was for you? And then after that, we can kind of hit on like what led you guys into deciding to team up together, and how'd you guys meet?
Gotcha. Well, hey, that's you. I mean, he got into entrepreneurship before I did. Growing up as a kid, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur and make a whole bunch of money and bukus and all that kind of stuff. But once I turned 18, I got a good paying job, and I lost my vision of the entrepreneurship. And I kind of got caught up with living paycheck to paycheck, and I thought that was like okay. But then when I met him, he owned an HVAC company. He was struggling at the time that I met him, and we ended up. He wanted me to become a salesman for him because I'm more like the extroverted type. So he kind of trained me how to be a salesman. And then I was going like pretty much house to house selling. And then we was like, okay, well, we can take the same skills that we've learned through HVAC and the marketing that he had learned with advertising and things of that nature. And we said, hey, let's get into real estate. So that was actually his idea to get into real estate at the beginning. And actually, just getting on YouTube, we came across your YouTube channel, GSD mode, and all that good stuff. And it was plenty of content.
Watched every single video.
every video, bro. Literally, this was before we even had a license or anything. Like literally, just hours of content. It was just phenomenal. So it talked us into basically you talked us into getting our real estate license and kind of going from there. So
yeah.
Yep. So go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, and the funny story is we met each other about 7 years ago at a Madden tournament. Like, the video game Madden. We met each other at a video game tournament. That's how we became friends. He got me a job working. He was working, and I got hurt. And when I got my little compensation check for getting hurt from the job, that's when I decided to branch out on my own and become an entrepreneur. And then we just kind of reconnected, and we've been literally 50-50 partners, best friends. I mean, literally roommates since then.
Yeah.
So Brandon, what? Because it sounds like the HVAC company was going good. I mean, you were running the business, you're doing that. You got a badass sales guy, helping you get some business. What was going on there, dude? That made you feel unfulfilled in that space and decide that you'd want to jump into the real estate space?
Okay, yeah. So what happened there was, really just mentors. I started learning the values of mentors. And literally, Grant Cardone was my first mentor. I know he was on the show. He's a big mentor of yours and mine. But they taught me that the skills that you have, no matter how much work and effort you put into it, you still have the same skill set. So you have to learn how to maximize upon those skill sets. And I realized that in real estate, there's really no limit to how big you can get.
Yeah.
There's
and
no
how much money you can
no
make.
cap. Yeah, there's no cap.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's why I was in the health club business before I got into real estate. I'm selling, $1,000 personal training packages, like you're selling, $1,000 AC units, and you get to the point, well, dude, if I'm good at selling this, why don't I sell, $300,000 products? And so no, I love it, man. So all right, so you decide to get licensed. You guys are doing it right. You're smart about this. Drives me crazy that more realtors don't do this, of putting a plan together before they get licensed. Right? I mean, I was the same way with you. People are always like, dude, how'd you sell 48 deals your first year out of the gate? And I'm like, well, dude, I had a plan before I even got licensed, right? So you guys are putting this plan together. You get licensed. Walk us through your first year, because that's usually the most challenging for real estate agents.
Well, it was crazy is we're not even done with our first year. We're actually still only about 5 months. We're only about 5 months into this right now. So we're still pretty much brand new, but we've just taken so much action, especially with taking your 90-day mastery course and all that kind of stuff, the boot camp. That really changed up everything. So that gave us everything that we needed to get started off really, really fast with all the scripts. And by the way, Josh, I really appreciate it that we've given out so many $5 Starbucks gift cards to have people continue the conversation with me.
Yeah, that's a good ROI though, man. I'll give out $5 to go make $6,000 all day long.
All day long. Yeah. So, but we've done real estate. We've taken what you've taught us, but we have done it a little bit unorthodox compared to most people that we hear about doing it. 99% of everything that we get is from Facebook ads, with a huge help to your Facebook ads, how to put them together. He does most of the Facebook and marketing. I do most of the actual phone calls, calling expired listings. Circle prospecting is huge. And me just taking a lot of action while he's generating most of the leads. So that's pretty much the whole team. It's just me and him.
Yeah, no, I love it, dude. So and you guys are really smart with it. I mean, I'm getting ready to start my 8th company right now, and what you guys have is exactly what I look to do. I look for strategic partnerships. We call it your entrepreneur superpower, where my superpower is necessarily their weakness, and then their superpower is my weakness, and we team up, and it becomes brilliant with that. So I know you guys worked together, in the past company, but when you got into real estate, how did you define roles of who was going to do what, and understand that those were your strengths? Did you go through a strategy, or did you just kind of know it from previously?
Yeah, well, honestly, the roles were kind of already there. Just because of I took action like he did, and the problem with me is people have a hard time understanding what I say. So I'll call someone and say, hey, this is Brandon Fink with Heifer Realty.
Do what? Who? What the f did you just say?
So we knew our roles pretty much before we got into real estate through our past experiences in other companies. But if you look at me, he's just the outgoing guy. You think he's doing drugs all the time, but he's just high on life nonstop.
Yeah, well, I think you, Brandon, you and I are a lot alike, dude. In that, I can fake being the extrovert and the sales guy, but deep down, I'm the intro. I'd rather be by myself in an office, building out systems and back-end funnels and running marketing all day long. Yeah, that's like my love. And
I love that, man.
And then I've got I go out there and hire the Jonathans of the world to go out there and do that, and it's that perfect partnership. So what's because you guys have obviously had massive success with this. We see a lot of real estate teams join up, people that team up, husband and wives, whatever that may be. What kind of recommendations would you give people to be able to identify what their strengths and weaknesses are, and who's going to do what in the partnership? Because you don't want to have an ineffective partnership where you're crossing, tasks, and what kind of advice would you give there?
Well, without having 8 years prior experience like me and him do with each other, really it's going to be a lot of just open communication. Number one, you know what I mean? We're with each other pretty much every hour, every single day. So I know what he's doing at all times. He knows what I'm doing, but everybody can't be like that. Maybe like a husband and wife can, but most partnerships can't do what we've done just because we're around each other so much. But communication's key, just like with anything. I felt like if I wasn't with him as much as I have been, just communication, just being very open, don't trying to go behind each other's back, and just kind of there's some tests out there you can take, personality tests you can take, like the hexacode.com, just to find out exactly more about yourself. So research things like that to really figure out who you are yourself. Be self-aware of who you are, the strengths that you have, and then they come with their own strengths, and then you just kind of, leverage each other.
Yep, love it, dude. So, okay, so you guys jump in, you get licensed, you jump in the business. Were you in the boot camp before you got licensed in, or were you in as soon as you got licensed?
Yeah, we were licensed. I was licensed about a month prior to jumping into the boot camp. We actually started, the 90-day gap was July 17th to October 15th. Yeah, October 15th. Okay. So a little less than, right at 90 days. We did 91,000 in commission. And really, honestly, we did it so much differently though. So I started running the ads that you run on Facebook. These stunning pool homes in Greensboro, North Carolina. But it's funny is what happened is we actually decided to run this with a new home ad. So a lot of our business and how we got our success was with new homes, which is different than really any other real estate agent. Because when I first started as a real estate agent, new home selling was frowned upon for me. Like I was taught, you don't want to sell a new home. But it's actually, you do. Because we made this new home lead, and this situation happened right here. The buyer, we had a buyer supposed to go meet with new home builder. Something came up where we could not meet them. They ended up going to the new home builder and buying the house without even meeting us. So when that happened, we looked at each other, we're like, bro.
Hold on, we can devise a whole game plan strategy of getting buyers to go meet new home builders and signing the buyer agency agreement via email without us ever even meeting them. So we started going heavy on Facebook ads with that. And literally when I would call them over the phone, I would basically, tell them the positives and of buying a brand new home, the advantages of that. Obviously it comes with all the warranties and all that kind of stuff. And basically I would just talk them into saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to go meet up with that new home builder that you recommended, and I'll go see what they have. And then boom, they have a salesman on site that sells the home themselves. And then we're completely hands off. So we were able to just sit here and me just bang out phone calls all day and get them to new home builders. And literally it's been working pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I love it.
The crazy thing is too, is these new home builders, or the main one we use is called True Homes. They're here in North Carolina only. But they offer a $100 gift card for every time you bring a client to the door. And we've literally paid for all of our advertising and more with $100 gift cards.
Yeah. That's killer, man. Yeah, turn those into $10 Starbucks gift cards, or yeah, no, I love it, dude. So, all right, man. So, what do you got to be? Because I'll go like just here in Arizona, because I know some people might be listening to this and having some questions. Like in Arizona, for example, the realtor has to accompany the buyer in the front door the first time, otherwise we can't represent them. Okay. So is that not the same in North Carolina, or is it? Do you go establish the relationship with the builder first and just say, hey, I'm going to be sending my clients here with you, whatever that looks like, so you and that salesperson are on the same page? Are you very strategic about developing that relationship first?
Yeah.
So in North Carolina, you have to have working with a real estate agent's form signed and a buyer agency agreement signed. Perfect. So that's what we got down the process of when we were calling them, is getting them to sign this electronically, the buyer agency agreement, and the working with real estate agent forms via email. And literally that's when they would go, and we would tell them, obviously we like to start you off with a new home route. And if that's something you're not interested in, then we obviously set them up on a home search and go from there.
Yeah. But hey, Josh, you hit it right on the head though, as far as us going out to the new home builders and establishing those relationships with the new home builder, making sure they're okay with that. Because some new home builders are not okay with that. They're like, no, you have to come in with your client. And if we're going to be just brutally honest here on the show, then with those new home builders, we don't recommend them. We don't send any clients to them. Unless they're already interested in them.
Right.
But the ones that we recommend are the ones that know what we're doing and are giving us the $100 gift card for every person we send in there, regardless if they buy a home or not.
Yeah, no,
we fill a lot of homes with them, so we have a very good relationship with the managers of these new home builder companies. So.
Well, and then the cool thing is, dude, is you got the relationship with the buyer now. You're staying in touch with the buyer after the fact. Eventually, dude, you're just building up your farm areas, and 7 years after these developments are built, dude, you're if you work it right, it's just gold mines for you. And if the markets, depending on how the market goes, but most areas in the country are transitioning to a buyer's market. again, you get to the point where some of these builders are willing to pay 5%, 10% commissions.
Exactly.
It's pretty gnarly. So okay, so you're sending your buyer there. A question I always get from podcast listeners and even bootcamp members is when I'm representing new builds, because the builder does so much that takes over, which is great. But then we want to still make sure like they perceive value in us. We're still having a connection with them through the process. What do you guys do once they buy the new build to keep that connection alive? How are you updating them so it's not just like okay, peace out, get paid, and never see you again?
Yeah, so what we do is we establish the relationship with the salesman or the salesperson for the new home builder. And what that salesperson does is they reach out to us with updates, and then we contact the buyer with those updates. So, instead of them reaching out to them, which they usually do, we make sure they reach out to us with those updates. That way, every 2 weeks or so, they're getting a call from us, getting an update on their house. We'll go out there with them 1 or 2 times while the house is being built. Because we actually had one house so far that's been built, and we actually got paid on for the new houses that's from scratch. But we just stay in contact with them pretty much bi-weekly on a update on the home that the actual new home buyer, the salesman for them gives us.
Yeah.
Yep, that's badass. Okay, so you're walk us through, without giving all your secrets away, but as you know, there's no secrets, right? So people just aren't consistent. Like you can tell all day long to all your competition exactly what you do, and nobody will do it, right? So walk us through what the strategy looks like as far as the Facebook ad. So you're running the Facebook ad for the new build. What type of verbiage are you putting in there in photo? Kind of walk us through what that structure looks like, and then when you get the lead, I'm guessing at that point it goes to you, Jonathan. Like, what are you saying to them to get them then in that front door?
Okay, I'll start this one off.
Gotcha.
So I'll actually send you a couple of screenshots of our ads, and for if you want to put it on the end of the podcast or the interview. Sure. But essentially, it's tons of different ads really that I run. I try to make it as specific to the city as possible, like you do. And I'll say, new home, pretty much, brand new 2,500 square foot homes under $200,000 or monthly payment that's in there with the disclaimer. Just stuff that's appealing to the customers. And we also, in North Carolina, we have this program that might not be everywhere else, but with new homes, you can get a 5% down payment assistance program. So, they can literally get a home for $1,000 down sometimes, a brand new home for $1,000 down. So I kind of use those as well. But I'll be sure to send you 3 or 4 of our best ads that we are running online right now that are generating us leads for about $6 to $7 per lead.
Yeah, that's killer. That's perfect, dude. Compared to paying $50 for Zillow,
Exactly.
So then they're clicking on the lead. So I always say, when you're looking at social media or any type of online marketing, you've got your ad. Then you got to send them to an effective website to get them to opt in, and then put them into your follow-up funnels. Kind of just again, rough idea of what that process is. How then you receive their contact information, and what that initial script is like.
You get it to the drip campaign.
Yeah, exactly. So it goes perfect storm, drip campaign, all that good stuff. And once it comes over to my end, where we actually have all the leads, I have them exported, and I start actually calling them. First I get really hyped before I start making the phone calls, because I like to bring a whole bunch of energy to the phone calls so they can know that, this isn't like I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to provide some value. I'm trying to explain to you exactly what the program is that you clicked on via Facebook. So a phone call goes something like this, like, hey, this is Jonathan with Hepler Realty. How are you doing today? They're like, hey, how are you? I'm doing fabulous. I hope you are. Cool deal. Well, hey, I was reaching out to you because you inquired on our Facebook ad about the $15,000 grant that we're running right now, or that North Carolina's putting out. And they're like, yeah, I'm very interested in that. Okay, cool deal. Well, basically how that program works, I'll explain to them a little bit how the program works very simply. Is pretty much as little talking as I have to, but in an energetic way that they're feeling the vibe. And then I get them very comfortable really quickly to where we can move on to the next phase of actually getting them to the new home. Like a lot of the time I'm going straight to the new home. We work with a new home builder called True Homes. and I tell them the advantages of working with a new home builder. And then right after that, I kind of explain to them the only thing that we need, is a buyer agency agreement signed. I just want to let you know we believe in accountability, not contracts. That's from you. And then they're like, okay, so what exactly does that mean? That means we're going to send you over a buyer agency agreement via email. And if you can sign that before you go over to the new home builder, that would be great. And we can be smooth selling from here on. And then 90% of people are honestly okay with that, considering that we're not in a long-term contract with them. They can cancel it. You can shred it at any time. So they feel pretty comfortable with that after speaking to me as well. They go meet up with the new home builder, and most of the time they're qualified, or hopefully they're qualified, and then they're ready to rock and roll with the new home. So that's kind of how it runs down. I mean, you go through the numbers and it works out quite nicely like that.
Yeah, and you'll see in our ads on Facebook, one thing I forgot to mention is I'm qualifying them, and that's one thing I added on to what you do. Is that's why our ads. I mean, I can get the pool ads for under $1 a lead.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna get a more qualified lead, I'm telling them 600 credit score required. I put that in the ad. 600 credit score or higher required. That way we know. I don't know what the legalities are on that, but that way we're not calling 100 people to get one good guess. We got it down to literally. I'm a numbers guy. We have a 14.56 conversion of leads in the door. So 15 people out of 100 we're going to actually walk into the new home buyer, and 20% of those people are actually going to buy a house. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yep, that's awesome. Now, are you prepping them? In that phone call, like if they don't like that new build, or they want a different new builder, or they decide they want resale, are you kind of prepping them for that too? Of hey, this is our preferred
exactly.
builder, but if that doesn't work for, we have others, and then if you want resale, we can help you there too, so you don't lose them.
Yeah, exactly. I'll let them know that I'm not actually affiliated with any of the new home builders per se, but that's just kind of where I recommend people starting, because not only can the new home builder provide you the warranties and you get more bang for your buck most of the time with a new home, but I'm a real estate agent. My fiduciary duties are to you, so I can put you, if you tell me your criteria of exactly what kind of home you're looking for, an existing home, I can definitely put you on an MLS search, and we can rock and roll from there. So,
yep, love it.
Yeah.
So Brandon, you mentioned that you're a numbers guy, and which you guys going through the boot camp, I preach numbers and tracking, and the path is on the math, and I was the numbers guy for the first half of my career. And I made a lot of money in the first half of my career, but it got to the point where I was just miserable. Working for him to midnight, I'm like ready to quit, even though I'm making $700,000 or whatever at that point. I'm just ready to be done because I wasn't able to operate effectively, efficiently, in a smart manner, and I had to learn the hard way. So it's dope that you guys adopted that right out of the gate. Walk us through what you track and how that is beneficial to you, Brandon. What's that? How it's benefited your success? Massive success you guys had on so early.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm a child to explain it. I'm bad at explaining things sometimes, but basically what I do is I start with really Facebook ads. So Facebook ads is where all the numbers start. I track, per impression, how many people are actually clicking on the ad, what percentage is clicking on the ad. From those percentage that click on the ad and put their, to who puts their information in, and then from there I kind of broke down the numbers of 14.56%. 50% of people pretty much will either meet with us or go meet with the new home builder, and then 20% of those people will actually buy from it. We'll put under contract, into a deal and go into escrow. So with that, I know it requires this amount of money to get this amount of impressions, and this amount of impressions leads to this amount of people coming to the door, and this amount of people coming to the door leads to this much money coming into our pockets. Yeah. So I know, I know how much money it's going to cost me to reach a target audience, how it's going to work. And just like you do with your male mobile, female mobile, all that kind of stuff, we do the same type of deal. Whenever an ad starts working, we double down on it and we expand our audience. So we get super targeted in our Facebook ads. Facebook, you can go a lot really complex into what you can do.
Yeah, especially with all the retargeting and things like that.
Yeah.
We honestly we give a lot of the success that we have not only to you for learning how to actually do this, but with the Facebook ads and all the extra, the marketing that we've been able to come up with, that's a whole bunch to our success.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I learned too was from another mentor of mine who's big into Facebook advertising is there's no failed ad. A failure is an experiment that was ran too long.
Yeah.
So you just keep running different experiments till one works, and then you shut everything else down and double down on that one thing that works.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how we handle our advertisement over here.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'll feel free to screenshot all of our ads to help everybody out on the podcast.
Yeah, I'll make sure to get those from you, and then anybody watching or listening will have a email below that you can reach out to, and have my assistant can shoot those out to you, and we'll get those out. So, yeah, dude, I can't agree more. I mean, it's like Edison said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I learned 10,000 ways the light bulb didn't work to get it right. And I agree too. You're always split testing. But what I love about Facebook, dude, compared to, I don't have a beef with Zillow or Realtor.com or whatever, not because they're not effective. I mean, I know enough people that are getting a big ROI to know that they work for some people, right? The thing I hate about them is you can't scale up, you can't split test it, you can't scale down, you can't. Where Facebook, dude, allows you to be very fucking smart with what you're doing here, right? Okay, so you guys are doing this. You're tracking your numbers. And now let's walk through, because all this stuff, people are listening to this, and, nothing about this is complicated, right? About success in real estate or success in any business. The hard part, dude, is staying freaking disciplined and consistent every single day. Walk us through what your first half year has been like, because you're not even at the 6-month mark. So you've done 90K in 90 days, right? What does that take, dude? Walk us through a day. What's the grind like, to get those types of results so early on?
And I want to give this honestly success to you. There's a quote by Michelangelo. It's great artists don't copy, they steal. Or something like that. And honestly, bro, when we started the 90-day mastery bootcamp, we saw your daily routine, and we looked at our daily routine, and we were like, bro, what
the fuck are we doing, and how the hell are we going to do that?
So we just did it. We started waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, going to the gym. We just did this shit. And when you start just doing it, it happens. I mean, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. And people don't understand, once you take massive action, you really do get massive results. Yeah. Especially if you're following the strategies and leadership by somebody like you, you're bound to have success. So that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah, I saw a quote. I don't know who said it, but I saw a quote one time that says, winners don't wait to get motivated to take action. Or it's like the difference between winners and losers. Like, winners don't wait to get motivated to take action. They take action anyway. Losers wait to get motivated to take that action. And when you start taking that action, nobody wants to get up at 4 a.m. Nobody wants to do this, but as soon as you start taking that action, the motivation follows, and I don't think people grasp and understand that. But, okay, walk us through a typical day, right? Like a typical decently busy day that you guys are doing, okay, you're getting up at 4 a.m., what are you doing? What time are you guys, what time are you done? What time's your head hitting the pillow? What time are you done following up with leads?
Yeah, well, okay, so basically, we get up, we eat, we hit the gym, all that kind of stuff. We get back. I start calling leads around 7:30 in the morning every day. You know what I mean? At first, I thought that was too early, but like you said, fucking just go ahead and give them a call. It is what it is. So I call all the leads starting at 7:30 till about 9 o'clock usually, and then after 9 o'clock. And by the way, the leads that I'm calling is the ones that we get from Facebook. And then after 9 o'clock,
we do expired listings too.
Yeah, the expired listings as well. But the circle prospecting is something I do. We utilize Cold Realty and Mojo Dialer, the three-way dialer. And I hop on the MLS and I find a house. Usually one of ours, hopefully. And we get. By the way, I got this idea from Greg McDaniels, I believe, which he's been on your show. And basically, his whole circle prospecting idea, where he'll find a house on MLS that sold for above what it was listed for, and then literally I'll just plug in that address on Cold Realty, pull up 500 houses that are around right there in the radius, and I'll call every single neighbor and literally let them know the good news that the market's on the rise, that the house right down the road from you on blah, blah, blah street just sold for $15,000 more than list price in only 7 days. And I was just saying, if you're in the area, if you're, having the idea to maybe sell your own house and take advantage of the market right now. And then literally we got we just helped a buyer buy a $460,000 house. And that was strictly off circle prospecting. And not only do we help him buy a $460,000 house, we help him sell his home just now as well. So, and that was just for, literally when you're circle prospecting and you're cold calling these people, you're going to come across the people that are aggravated and mad at you, but you're also going to come across people that respect you so much for what the grind and the hustle that you're doing. And they're willing to do pretty much whatever. So.
Yeah, it's, people get so freaked out about the rejection, but I'm like, dude, if you call somebody at 5 o'clock at night and go through that script with them, or even 7:30 in the morning, doesn't really matter, and they go apeshit on you, dude, they got deeper problems than you can even fathom to be able to help out that person, and you don't want them as a client anyway. If they get that aggravated where they wig out, I'm like, it's just never bothered me because I'm like, that's somebody that I would never want to work with anyway. They got some big ass internal issues. So knowing that you guys are number guys, because I don't circle prospect personally, but you're having success with it. So our audience can kind of hear, because again, you hear agents are like, oh, dude, man, I dialed 2,000 numbers, I didn't get a listing, and they give up. What does that numbers game look like? I mean, how many dials to conversations, if you track that, to appointments, to closings, are you seeing with that? Just to give a realistic expectation, because usually when we hear most people in this space, they're all full of shit. They either don't know their numbers or they lie about their numbers, and I know that you guys aren't that way. So trying to get an idea of what that would look like so people know a true expectation.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically with our listing side, it's pretty much, I would say, between every 700 to 800 calls that we make, we're going to...
Which I can do in a day, by the way. I do 700 to 800 in a day.
Yeah, that's pushing it. That's calling from 7:30 in the morning on the motor dialer to 7 o'clock at night. That's a long day, but if you are nonstop on that, between every 700 to 800 calls, it's somewhere in that 700 to 800 range is where we're going to actually get a house listed. So that's the amount of work.
So prospecting or plug-in. I mean, you wouldn't have enough expireds to plug in there, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's circle prospecting. That's cold bare leads.
Yeah.
So to me, I hear that, and I'm like, and this is why so many real estate agents and entrepreneurs have such a small mindset of, well, why would I partner with this person and give away that commission? I'm like, dude, if I get one person on the phone doing those 700 dials every single day that gets us a listing, and we split that commission. My job is to go on listing appointments all day. They do that, and let's say our average commission is $6,000. We're each making $3,000 a freaking day. Where else did you make that kind of money?
For real. That's how we've never had an issue splitting the commissions, man. Never had an issue with that.
Yeah. So then walk us through so you're dialing, you're doing all that. Brandon's running the marketing, running the ads. Who's going on the presentations? Who's doing paperwork? Is that split between both of you? Do you have?
Yeah, we both go on the presentations. Literally, if we get a lead, we'll say, when can you be here? We can be there in 20 minutes.
Yeah, literally, wherever they are, we can be there in 20 minutes.
Yeah. But for most part, I handle all the paperwork. Because I can only do so much lead generation while he's doing all those phone calls. So I handle all the paperwork. I'm the secretary pretty much for the company, because he's literally nonstop. I don't know how he has a voice, honestly. I've been wanting to get him a dang chirotherapy freaking subscription for him.
Yeah, that's to come, man. Mine started giving out, man, and but you figure it out, dude, right? So, all right. So I know that you got, and the cool thing is you guys are being smart with this. You're not going out there and you got enough money now to hire help and whatever, but you're being strategic, being smart, making sure that income's coming in, and your consistency to this. So, what is your plan for your next first hire?
Man, really. Usually somebody's first hire is usually a secretary, which he kind of handles that. I think our first one will be somebody that handle
buyer's agent.
A buyer's agent, and somebody that's going to handle all the documents and the contracts.
Yeah.
That's going to be our first hire, because most of the time people will go out and look for an ISA or something like that, but I like doing all that myself.
Yeah.
I like being on the phone. I like making all the conversions come through and saving them, and so that'll be the last hire. Replacing me the last thing.
And one thing too that I'm gonna say to everyone from my experience from watching him is we get that 700 to 800 mark because this dude doesn't take no for an answer. You know, he doesn't care. I mean,
even the people that literally they're like, don't you ever call me again. I know I'm not interested at all. And I'm like, hold on. It looks like you're a little upset. It looks like maybe you need to stay on the phone with me a little longer, and we can just not even talk real estate. Let's just talk about your day.
that's true.
Yeah, sometimes I have a 30-minute conversation with somebody that was mad at me at the beginning, and then I don't ever really close the deal with them, but sometimes I'm able to turn them around. But then sometimes
we got one like that.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just have a 30-minute conversation with somebody, and it was just because they are now apologizing to me for how they treated me at the beginning of the conversation. So
the cool thing about this, because the reality is most people when you call them, they're not looking to buy or sell right now. But you salvage the relationship, you get them in your funnel in 3 years, dude. Like you haven't because it's so new yet. You haven't begun to see the impact of those types of calls.
No idea. Exactly.
And dude, in the next 36 months, man, I mean, you guys will be banging out, 60, 70 million a year. I mean, your career is going to be insane. What you guys are doing, and you're right, dude. I hear so many agents wanting to hire ISAs right out of the gate.
Yeah.
It took me 11 years to hire my first ISA. Right? Because I'm like, dude, that is the highest money making task that you can possibly do as a real estate agent. All these guys go out and fucking hire people in the Philippines. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? I'll hire out agents, I'll hire out everything, but I still, just like Brent, I still run the marketing and the back end numbers. That's something but that's just that's my love, my passion. I don't really see myself ever giving that up. But just up until recently, it was me really doing what you guys are doing still. Up until that point, so I think you're totally doing it right. So walk us through, Jonathan, then, because, dude, people do have such a tough time with the phone, and there's so much call reluctance. And I don't know if you're just one of those naturally, like freak dudes that just have no fear of rejection and whatever. But if you're not, if you did have to overcome that, how did you do that? And then kind of give us an idea of what you say and the reason I'm asking, sorry to be long-winded on these questions, I just want to kind of set it up right. A lot of people have all these stories in their head of how these conversations are going to go, and they never turn out near as bad as they think. But they have those stories, and it creates so much fear that they just never actually take the action.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like Grant Cardone says, man. You can't don't be a little bitch. Just put them in your Mojo Dollar or pull out your phone and start and dial the freaking number. Dial it. And I promise you it's not going to go as bad as all these nightmares and stuff like that go. I mean, you might have one in a 1,000 that go like as bad as you thought it would go. But man, honestly, and I would consider myself more like the natural, I guess I would say. But it's all about, I've never taken any type of like sales classes or, anything like that. But I just literally get on the phone and I have a natural conversation. A lot of the time, it's unscripted. Like, I use the scripts, like your scripts, I use them as a basis. But a lot of the time, I just try to be as natural as I possibly can. Just have a real conversation with these people and make them feel like I'm genuine, which I am. I'm genuine that I really want to offer my service to them because I feel like they need to go with us because I feel like we're the best in the industry to provide them value. So that's literally, just be natural, be real with them. So and if they push back, push a little bit back to them, yeah. But not too bad to piss them off. But just try to let them know that you're just genuinely trying to help them out. So
yeah, I love it.
That's really it.
So then what keeps you guys, because I don't know what kind of loot you were making in your previous career, but now you're getting to the point where you're banking $30,000 a month, and that's. Everybody in this business is always like, oh, I want to make $100,000 a year. And when I got to $100,000, I'm like, dude, I still feel broke. But then when I got to the point where I was making about $30,000 a month, I'm like, okay, now I actually feel like I'm doing something here. But we find so many people do where good becomes the worst enemy to greatness. They don't keep, striving. They don't, like what keeps you guys driving? What keeps you on fire? What keeps you not getting to the point where you're like, oh shit, we're doing this, now we'll just coast what drives you guys for that?
Yeah, bruh, goals, vision boards. I mean, literally, since we've been making all this, we're making a lot more money now than we ever did with our other company. But the crazy thing is we don't have any new really assets or anything like that. We've taken all of the money that we've been making and been investing it back into the business because we don't have a $100,000 goal. We don't have $1 million goal. We have a $1 billion goal. You know what I mean? So our goals keep just rising, and we're hungry. We're just out there. We're just eating. You know what I mean? So we're not out blowing our money on crazy things. So the only thing I have different now is I have a little nicer truck. He has a little BMW. And that's it. You know what I mean? Just so when we're scooting people around on these buyer presentations or listings and stuff, we have a nice vehicle. That's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say one thing that we both have in common that pushes us is we're super competitive. That's the one thing that we have. That's our biggest thing we have in common with each other is we're super competitive. I don't look at it really as a money. You have to look at it as like, if you're playing the game, or if I'm doing something, no matter if it's real estate or what it is, I'm not gonna do it unless I can be the best at it.
Yeah.
If I have a chance of being the best at it, the only way I'm gonna do it is so I can be number one. And that's our goal, is to be number one. So we want to take over our market number one, take over our state number one, and then the nation. So those are our goals.
Yeah. Well, dude, I mean, you guys are with your energy and with your focus, and as long as you don't get comfortable, dude, it's going to happen, man. So you guys have talked a lot about self-development inside this. You're dropping Cardone, you're dropping, some of the, you guys participate in the boot camp. How important is self-development to you, to your success, and what does that look like on a daily basis for you?
Oh, man, self-development is everything. It's literally everything. If you're not investing in yourself, what the hell are you investing in? I mean, it's not going to be something that's going to be an income-producing activity, but the first income-producing activity you have is your brain. So we're always investing. We're reading books, investing in other courses. Like, we're big on Ty Lopez as well. A lot of the stuff that he puts out there as far as his book recommendations, we try to read the books that he puts out.
Yeah, actually, we had about $20,000. We went to our a good mentor of ours. We're like, bro, what can we do with this to make money? And he said, that's not enough money, bro. Put that into your brain. And that was about a year ago. Yeah, that was about a year ago. And that's when we learned about real estate. That's when we learned that the skills we had were much more valuable than just HVAC and changing out units of manual labor. It's put it all into your brain. I mean, like you said, we do Ty Lopez. We buy like literally every program. We buy marketing books. We buy marketing programs. I mean, whatever you can buy to get to that number one spot, that's what you got to do. You got to just continuously develop your brain.
Yeah. So how do you? Because dude, you guys got a lot of shit going on, man. Because you got because you're getting up, you're hitting the gym, taking care of your body, taking care of your mind through self-development. You're jamming out 700-800 calls a day. You're running all this marketing. How do you keep it all together and keep it structured and keep it focused?
We're big. All right, I'm gonna throw this out here. We're big on Snapchat. So, like, especially me, I Snapchat like pretty much every day, all day. You know what I mean? So a lot of the people, if we take a slack day, like if they don't see us get up or they don't see us grinding, then we'll have tons of people hitting us up like, hey, Tager, what the hell are you doing, bro? Like, you ain't posting nothing on Snapchat. I know you're slacking. So I use that as motivation as well when I'm posting on Snapchat every day. It's such a personal, intimate platform that it really also pushes me to make sure I'm being consistent daily. So I'm an inspiration to other people as well. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I answered your question, but that's
accountability. Yeah, accountability.
Yeah, the accountability thing right there.
Yeah, I love it, dude. So all right, so it sounds like to be with you guys too. You're running a lean shop, dude. Right? So you've got. Obviously you don't have overhead with staff yet because you're doing it smart. People rush out and hire assistants so fast, and I'm a big believer in you have at least 4 months of consistent income, right? Where you can run your operation, you can afford to pay that person and pay yourself before we bring that person on, and so you guys are doing it right for sure with that. Walk us through like what your expenses are, because it sounds to me like I know you got a perfect storm site, so you're paying a couple $100 a month for a website, which is probably taken care of from the $100 gift cards. Do you have any expenses? Because dude, everybody thinks it takes so much freaking money to make money, and I don't agree with that. It may take a little, right, but it doesn't take a lot. Walk us through what that looks like for you guys.
Well, we've generated the money all the Facebook ad money we put in so far is like $5,200 to date. So not a ton of money.
So that's about $1,000 a month in Facebook ads.
Yeah, about $1,000 a month in Facebook ads.
And then obviously our personal bills.
Yeah, honestly, I mean,
obviously,
as far as the business goes, we spent more money. We spent more money on self development, like taking programs like yours and learning from other mentors, and we actually doing our business. Our business overhead is really not. I mean, probably under $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Generating $30,000 in income, a month. So.
Yeah, I always get asked, like, dude, what if you have a G a month, what would you spend for marketing? I'm like, dude, just invest in systems. Get your website that you guys generate, because you generate a lot of free leads too. You don't have to pay money for leads. Mojo, for $150 triple dialer, dude, I mean, that thing's gold. Espresso agent, cold directory. Get the systems and then just prospect like a madman until you don't have time to prospect.
Yeah, we actually got really lucky. The company we work for, the owner is named Nathan Hepler. Big shout out to him, by the way, for helping us get started into the industry, because we'd be lost without him. But he actually purchased the Mojo Dialer and the Cold Realty for us to help us get started. Yeah. So we had to make that investment, which was really nice. But the Mojo Dialer, I think it's like $150 a month, like you said. We got to pay that, and then the Cold Realty was $2,000, that initial investment in that. But they do have monthly payments or a three payment plan or something like that you all can do to get that going. But if we were to kind of start over and we had to go from 0 to 90 real quick, circle prospecting. I mean, Espresso Agent, you can use Espresso Agent just like you use Mojo Dialer without the 3-line dialer. But if I was on a budget, I would start with the Espresso Agent. Perfect storm now, because you can watch your videos on how to create free Facebook ads, because that's how we started, man. When you don't have the money to do for paid for advertising to get the select targeted demographic you want, I mean, we were calling 100, 1% conversion. That's what we were averaging, 1%. So for every 100 leads we got in off the free Facebook ads, 1% would go to contract. Yep. Exactly. It was crazy.
Yep. Posting them groups. The groups.
Yeah, I just had, I don't know if you guys saw the podcast.
7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. We got an alarm going off. Posting the groups.
Hell yeah, man. So I don't know if you guys saw the podcast. I just with Josh Bryan, who is also a boot camp member, and then a Perfect Storm client. And same thing. Solo agent. And he did $40,000 in net commissions in his first 4 months, all from group posting. Now it's consistent daily. Like he literally, because he lives not too far from Perfect Storm headquarters in Illinois. So when I had to fly out there my last trip, he offered to be my chauffeur, and but he was legit, dude. Like every night his alarm would go off. He's like, all right, see you later, dude. I gotta go, and he goes in, posts, and then comes back out, whatever it may be. And but yeah, I hate this whole adage that it takes money to make money. Maybe true for other industries, but definitely not true for real estate, man. So what do you guys feel, we've talked a lot about successes. What have been, some of the challenges and obstacles that you've had to overcome that maybe you didn't expect that were going to be a challenge and obstacle that were great growth moments for you guys to have the success that you've had?
Well, I guess the thing is expected. I mean, obviously, it takes a little while to start actually making money in real estate. So I think our biggest obstacle was at the beginning.
We were putting in massive action for about 2 weeks, and we got nothing. We had nothing to show for it at that moment. And we kind of got down, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it kind of hits you when you put in 2 weeks of. We were putting in 120 hours a week each. And then boom, I mean, literally just overnight, it just started listing after listing, buyer after buyer. It got out of hand. But I mean, it takes momentum. I mean, that's the truth. It takes momentum of doing massive action for it to it's an effect. I don't know how to say that. The word I'm looking for, but
yeah, exactly. I mean, I agree with that. But also, I mean, what I was kind of saying was I'm more of a money man, and just going without that first, and waiting for that first closing, you know what I mean? That was like kind of the toughest part, getting something under contract and then getting to close and going without a paycheck, you know what I mean? Like with HVAC, we were getting paid, daily or all the time. And then going into real estate, waiting a month and a half to get your first paycheck. That was probably the biggest obstacle. But that kind of pushed us also to go ahead and grind it out and go ahead and get a couple things on a contract. So, but once we get that first thing on a contract, it was a snowball effect. It was a snowball effect. All the hard work that we did in the first like 2-3 weeks, everything just started coming together. Like we was like, geez.
Yeah, all the drip campaigns. Yeah, we put all the people on the drip campaigns. That we literally just copy and pasted yours, changed Arizona to North Carolina, and it worked, man. Dude, I had people every day reach out 2 or 3 different emails every day talking about, I love your emails. You know,
so much value was provided. That's why we went with you.
The value. I mean, it's you provide value, and they just want to give back to you naturally.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. You guys wouldn't even fathom like the resistance I get from people to invest $997 into that program, you know. And I'm like, dude, it's like 12 years, 5,000 home sales, cost me $5 million to put this stuff together, and you know, and I also get the skepticism, right? Because there's also so much, you know, snake oil, if you will, that's sold to us realtors on a daily basis that, you know, we get burned through it. I mean, I've been burned heavily on coaching and consulting.
Yeah. Well, we're living proof. Anybody that is watching this right now, if you're struggling and you haven't purchased Joshua Smith's program, hands down, call your mom, call your dad, call your pop, somebody, get the $997, pay for it, because it's changed our life. We're living proof of it. So it's just phenomenal, bro.
I appreciate that, dude. So you guys have talked about mentors. You know, most people aren't intentional about seeking mentors, and I don't know if it's just because they don't know the power, or maybe it's because they don't know how to reach up. You know, it's like, you know, you want to become somebody that's worth $100 million. Well, how the hell do you go find guys that are worth $100 million to go hang with? You know, but it sounds like you guys both have, you know, had some great mentors through this whole process, and even before you got into the real estate journey. What have you done to seek these mentors and develop these relationships?
Man, I'm going to go ahead and speak for this one. A couple months ago, we literally drove down. This is before we had the money we were making. We put a lot, literally the last bit of money we had, and we got in the car and drove down to Florida to go to a mastermind event. And that's when we met Christopher Kai. He was, you know, he's speaking for you. Yeah, I mean, we met with him. He's one of our mentors right now. I mean, we literally just, no matter what we had to do, if it was the last dollar we spent, we knew it was a good dollar spent because it's going to get us to the next level of life. Same thing now. We just went back down that's actually how we reached out to you, was through Christopher Kai. A month ago, we went back down to Miami to another mastermind event, and we're hanging out with these guys who are worth $100 million plus. And that makes you feel like such a small person in that room, you know, and you don't want to feel like that small person in that room, so it makes you grind. You come back with such a drive when you go to events like that. Like events you had out there in Scottsdale, Arizona with the speakers, you know. When you go to events like that.
The networking events are key. Getting around the people, even if you may not be able to actually personally be able to talk to the person on stage or whatever, being there, just networking with everybody else, that's huge. You never know who you're going to run into and who can possibly have an effect to change your life, or what little small nugget that you may hear that can change yours. So getting out there to networking events is also a huge key that we've been doing a lot here lately as well.
Like I said, we spend a lot more money on our branding development and mentors than we do in any part of our business times 10. You know, that's where our money goes to.
Well, I'm the same way, dude. I mean, I'm like you guys. I spend very little marketing, about 36 G's a year. But not just between myself, but also my leadership team and coaching. I mean, I'm probably $200,000 a year deep in just coaches and consultants and mentors for myself and my leadership team, which is exponentially, you know, way more than I invest in marketing and systems. Because, like you guys said, you can't get a better ROI anywhere else. So I love it. So I know it's well, I shouldn't say it's tough, because I mean, you guys have been you guys. You can sit there and say, somebody could look at this and be like, oh, dude, these guys did all this money in you know, the first 90 days, or they only do it 6 months. 120 hours a week each, 240 hours a week combined. Your average realtor, maybe, even if they say they're full-time, working 60 hours a week, they're probably working 15, 20 hours a week. You know, so you're you know, that first 2 weeks that then things started snowballing, you put in the work in 2 weeks that most don't put in, you know, combined probably in you know, 2 months.
Months, 100%. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many people were reaching out to us, especially our friends and our family that know us personally, that were saying, dude, what the f*** is wrong with y'all guys? Like, seriously, calm down, take a break. You know, you don't have to work your ass off. I'm like, no, actually, you take your break. Yeah. How about you take your break? I don't have to live your life. You don't have the lifestyle that I want. So don't listen to other people's opinions that are, not living the lifestyle that you want. The people like Grant Cardone, like yourself, they're workhorses. If you got to be, at some point, you got to be a workhorse. At least at the very beginning, get shit popping off. So.
And Josh, you said, it was easy. And I kind of want to expand upon that. It wasn't, just so everyone knows, it wasn't easy. I mean, we literally stopped doing HVAC. We didn't even do it on the side. We went all in on this. I sold pretty much, I went through a divorce. I sold all of my assets I personally had. And I lived off that for 6 months in my mom's house. I started my real estate business in my mom's sunroom. So, bro, I mean, we were sitting here looking at each other one day, and we're like, bro, if something doesn't come through this week, like, we're not eating this week. But it nothing stopped us, man. Like, you have to just see the vision and just go to it. And nothing holds you back. No family, no matter who it is.
Yeah.
Negativity, that's a big thing of us, too, is anyone that's negative in my life, I removed.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing for me, was letting everyone go. Because it's tough, man. You got family members, for example, I had to let my cousin worked for us. Having to let people like that so close to you in your life go is tough. Yeah. It's tough, but you have to remove the negativity in your life to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing I learned, is let go of negativity.
Yeah, love it, dude. So do you think, and I it's always a tough thing for me to give advice on, because it's like, okay, the smart thing to do would be, okay, get 6 months of reserves in the bank at least, whatever. But I also think sometimes you have too much money in the bank, you don't have that same fire. Because I was in the same position you guys were. I put everything on a credit card. I'm 23 years old, had no money, everything on a credit card. Like, if I didn't get something, like not just an escrow, but sold in 30 days, I was fucked. I was having to go beg for money. And it forced me to go out there and do 3-4 open houses every day, 7 days a week, and go out there and grind. Do you feel that you would have had the same drive if you were in a different financial position when you jumped in?
No. I don't. That's a tough one to say.
Before we get into that, let's go ahead and explain our situation now. So even though we're making money now, we still literally, like right now, we put all the money we have into everything. Like we're actually, if you look at our bank account right now, you think we're broke. Because we both thrive when our back's against the wall.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I mean, I think I always will be that way.
Yeah. So that's why I answer that question, no, because our backs were against the wall kind of before real estate, so it made us, like, that was our only option. We made it our only option. So once you make it your only option, you make success with real estate the only option, you're going to become successful because you're going to do everything you have to do, and that's just how we're built.
I'm reading Grant Cardone's Millionaire Playbook right now. I don't know if you guys read that, but it's like his $500, step-by-step playbook. It's badass, dude. And he says in there that every single year he calls it going broke. So he takes like all the money he has and just dumps it into all his different investments. So he's literally broke. So yeah, that money's going to building him wealth and building assets, but he's not liquid anymore. So it forces that drive, and it's
it's crazy that you said that, because another mentor of ours, which is a personal good friend of ours, Jeremy Haynes, lives out in Miami. He used to work for Grant Cardone. He was on that yacht mastermind that we went to in Miami. And Jeremy said that when he was working for Grant, he went into his office one day, and Grant literally said, "Hey, Jeremy, come here." And he asked Jeremy, "How much money do you got?" And Jeremy was like, "I have like $700." He was like, "Okay, cool. I want you to go on your lunch break and spend all of your money today
on clothes
or something unnecessary." Jeremy was like, "What the fuck? Like, I have rent due in 3 days." Grant was like, "Well, perfect. That'll give you that much more reason to work harder and make that money back in 3 days."
And he did.
So he spent the money, then boom, he worked his ass off and made the money back from Grant. So it was a phenomenal little story. That's how Grant works, man.
I love it, man. So what kind of advice would you guys have? You got let's say a brand new real estate agent, or maybe somebody they've been doing this for a while, but they're in a brand new spot, meaning they have nothing going on, they're struggling, or somebody that's maybe thinking about getting into real estate. Like what's 3 pieces of advice that you would give them so they could start right out of the gate hitting it right, and accomplishing the goals they want to accomplish?
I'll start with number one.
Number one? My number one is buy your program. I mean, that's to me, that's the number one. And if you can't afford it, if you don't have the $1,000 or whatnot, then you need to get out and rake some leaves or mow some lawns. But get the money up. That's my number one. I feel like that's the most.
My number one was aligned with
invest in yourself.
Was mentors. You want to learn from others' mistakes, not just Joshua Smith's mistakes, but other real estate agents too. YouTube's a powerful tool. I mean, you can go on there, you can learn from other people's mistakes before you get into the game and not make those mistakes. Starting off.
Another big thing is there's some successful real estate agents in the area. They're on Zillow. You know what I mean? Pick up the phone, call them, invite them out for lunch. I mean, we've had so many lunches with local other successful real estate agents that we've sat down and we pay for the lunch. We talked business. They gave us some nuggets. We kind of figured out exactly what route we should go. That's huge. That's huge. That's an easy way to get around people that are more successful than you are, or that are a little bit ahead of you. Sitting down with them, offering some value.
Yeah, when I got started in this business, dude, going on 12 years, bro. It'll be like May of 2017. It'll be 12 years, which is gnarly to think about. But YouTube didn't exist. There wasn't podcasts. There wasn't. But I did it, same thing, just in a different method, but I just jump on airplanes. I call it the people at the next level. And I found that a lot of times, I mean, the industry's changed from a scarcity mindset to more of an abundant mindset. When I first got started, it was like nobody would tell you shit in your area because if you succeed, that mean they were failing, right? So, and not for everybody. I mean, some would share, but same thing. I just go jump on airplanes. You call somebody up, compliment them massively on their business, and just be like, dude, can I just be a fly on the wall? You won't even know I'm here, right? Just like and dude, I had dudes making hundreds of millions of dollars a year in gross sales volume that would allow that, love it, man. That's such killer advice, dude. All right, dudes. Well. I started this podcast. I know we just kind of gave some advice here, so I might have put the cart before the horse here. But as you guys know, I know you watch this podcast a lot. But I started it, dude, because man, I just got for the last decade I've been bitching about this industry with all the smoke and mirrors out there. And then finally one day I'm like, well, dude, quit bitching, man. Quit being a whiner and do something about it, right? So that's when I started the podcast because I'm like, let me just go out there and interview the doers, dudes like yourself. Now, and I don't want to sound like I'm just some amazing dude that gives back. I do it on a selfish reason because I get to, dude, I've learned so much shit from you guys today. I mean, I get to pick brilliant minds every single day, and this is my self-development, which creates win-wins all the way around. But with that being said, man, I mean, our listeners are here right now because they want to go out there and create the life that they know they want and deserve. And you guys are just, again, you're in the trenches, you're doing it, you're living proof of it. Any last words of inspiration, whether it be mental, or when it comes to tactical, any last words of inspiration or advice that you'd like to leave our listeners with so they can create the life they want and deserve as well?
Just don't settle. Don't settle for mediocrity, or you will live a whole life with that. Literally, you need to be writing your goals down. You write your goals down because I found that when you actually really do that, and you have vision boards, like in my room over there, I have a huge vision board up and it has all my goals and stuff on there. So every morning when I wake up, I see that, and that I know I'm focused. I know where I'm going. So know where you're going. That's the big key I would give out right now.
Yeah.
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 So
I love it, man. Dude, I could say if you're gonna take a vacation and you don't know where the destination is, you got to know it, man. I love it, dude. So,
and one big thing I would say too is live through value. We come on here, we'll tell you anything. I mean, even if you guys want to reach, anyone that's watching this wants to reach out to us personally, I mean, we will tell you all of our secrets. There's no secrets. It's provide value. And that's what we do. There's no such thing as a secret to me. I mean, I'll tell you everything I do. I just want to live my life. At the end of my life, I live my funeral. I want to know that I went through life and provided value to every single person I could.
Yep, that's a big thing for me. A damn legacy. You gotta leave it.
Yep. Love it, man. Powerful stuff. And to our listeners, I know we end every podcast with this, you guys, but information without implementation is just the start of delusion. Information is no longer power. We have an abundance of information out there. It's taking that information, taking action on it, that creates power in your world. So you just heard from two absolute studs, two badasses that are doing big things. Take something that you learned today. They dropped a ton of knowledge on you. Take something that you learned. Take action on it. Below will be a link to an email. Well, I don't even know if it's going to be an email yet, but it'll be a link where then you can just click that link and we'll get you those screenshots of Brandon and Jonathan's ads right away so you can go check those out and have copies of those. So do that below. And thank you guys for watching and listening. And Jonathan and Brandon, this has been a massive honor, man. Appreciate you guys. I know we spent the boot camp together, but this is I very rarely get to spend an hour on a hangout like this. So it's been an epic time, man.
Hell yeah, bro. Hey, highly appreciate it, man. Everything you're doing, you don't understand, bro. Big time.
Super grateful, man.
Yeah.
Super humble to be on the show with you, and it's just surreal, man. You were like our first mentor, and now you're here right here in front of us, bro. So it's honor, bro.
And y'all get out there and get shit done, damn it.
That's it. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.